Hi there, this is Brenda Tsiaousis, Life and Business Growth Strategist, and it's my pleasure to welcome Kim Tennant with us today for the next interview in the Art of You, Refining Your Life and Business interview series. This interview series has come about as a result of me inviting a whole lot of women to share their insights and their fears and challenges with you when they started their business. They've achieved a certain amount of success, and the golden nuggets that they have to share will help you today to grow your business as well. So welcome, Kim. It is awesome to have you here, and I'm really pleased that you've given up your time to be able to share your insights with our viewers as well.
Thank you, Brenda. It's lovely to be here.
There we go. Kim, you started your business. Could you tell us when you started your business, and just tell us a little bit about you as well? Give us a bit of background.
Okay. I started my business probably unofficially, probably about 12, 13 years ago. I was a registered nurse for 20 years and I did astrology on the side. And then a couple of years ago, I decided that it was something that I loved so much that I really wanted to pursue it as a full-time vocation. And so I've now been doing it for about 2.5 years as a profession. And I'm a mum of two. I also have a stepson, and he has a child as of a few months ago, so I guess that makes me a grandmother as well. And I've used astrology as a parenting tool right from the word go, from when I've had my children. So that's been my passion, and that's what I love to share with other mums.
That's an interesting concept. How would you use it as a tool in parenting?
You use it as a way of understanding your child. So every person has a different birth chart, so every child has a different birth chart. You look at the planets and the signs they're in and the houses that they're in and the relationships they make to each other, and that pretty much defines your personality. So it's a wonderful way to actually help parents to understand their children and make them realise why they are the way they are, because often we have expectations of our children and they don't always necessarily live up to what we expect them, not necessarily pressurising them to do, but just we assume that they're going to be similar to us or do certain things, and then they throw us a curveball. So that can help us understand why.
And life is interesting, and sometimes it does happen, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
That's good. Now, what made you go into this business other than you just having a passion for it? You mentioned nursing, so I take it that you're not in that industry anymore and you're now full-time in your astrology business. When did that shift happen?
About 2.5 years ago, I just got to a point where I wasn't enjoying nursing like I used to, and I've always had a passion for astrology. When I was a little girl, I used to go to bed at night and recite the signs in order for some reason in my head before I went to sleep. I had my first astrology book when I was a teenager. I used to try and work out what sign people were and look at my friends and study them. So I've had it with me all my life. I've just been passionate about it for a very long time. And I did study it and get official accreditations, and I decided a few years ago that, it was time for me to actually pursue my passion.
Fabulous. All right, so please tell me, the person that works with you, you mentioned that you help parent with people with their parenting styles. Would your client ideally be parents then, or do you have another target market that you also assist and help?
Ideally, parents, so especially mums, because mothers tend to be more interested in that sort of thing. But I've taught astrology over the years, and I'm open to sharing and teaching anyone with a passion to learn, because really it's a self-development tool.
That's perfect. That's wonderful. And what is it that you enjoy most about your business?
I love the freedom it gives me, that I'm always able to be there for my children. When I nursed, I worked night duty, so I was very tired all the time, so it's nice to be able to have a good night's sleep every night now. And I just love the fact that I can, make an impact and help other people.
Yeah, and do this on your own terms.
Yeah,
Isn't that amazing? And I think that that is something that most entrepreneurs, one of their key drivers is the freedom to be able to work around their family, so build their businesses, doing something that they love around their family, instead of having to
absolutely.
work 9 to 5 and not see or experience their children growing up around them.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a huge draw card.
Kim, you must have had some challenges in your business, and and the women that I've spoken to on this interview series have mentioned that they had many fears when starting out as well. Did you have any of those?
Oh, absolutely. I think because I worked for, I guess, well, the government really, because I was in a public hospital. I was used to turning up to work, and it didn't matter whether I was busy or whether I was quiet or what happened, whether I saved someone's life or not. I got paid the same amount of money,
Yeah.
and I never thought about you know my worth because that's how much I was paid. And when I started working for myself, I suddenly had to put a value on myself, and that was huge for me.
Mm.
Really going, well, how much am I worth and what can I charge people? That was massive because I was used to just giving and just letting someone else decide what I was worth. So that was a huge, huge challenge.
Would you like to share with us how you actually overcame that?
I think just a lot of personal growth myself, like doing a lot of work on myself, working with a life coach, doing different courses and studies that help me develop as a person. And then, of course, my husband's incredibly supportive, my kids are supportive, and I've surrounded myself with great women who are supportive as well. So that keeps me going when, there are the odd times when you think, oh, have I made a mistake? And then the good things happen again and people go, no, just hang in there, all will be good. And it does. It works out and you have wins and you feel good about yourself again. So.
Oh, that is awesome. And the reason I'm smiling is because the previous interview I've just done, and actually all the other interviews I've just done, most of them said that they surrounded themselves with wonderful, empowering women who got what they do and who support and encourage, and also that it was very important for them to have a life coach or some sort of mentor to help them. And it's so interesting that this is an unprompted interview and you've just said exactly the same thing.
Absolutely.
Oh, goodness. All right. If you had to do anything over again, so if you had to change it at all, what would you change and what would you do over?
The main thing, I guess, that I would change would be probably to have done a business course first, because I did Marie Forleo's business school course halfway through this year, which absolutely changed my life. I ended up with a completely new website, a whole new way of doing things, and really learnt about business and structuring. Whereas initially I was teaching at a spiritual centre and I was happily going along and enjoying doing that and doing consultations, but I didn't really look at ways of developing my business and having other or multiple streams of income, basically. Mm-hmm. And I would definitely recommend that if you're going into a business where you have very little idea of how to start up, you really do need to do some sort of course or put yourself in touch with people who know what they're talking about so that they can guide you, because I pretty much went in blind and it worked for a while, but financially I wasn't making huge amounts of money, and eventually that petered down and I suddenly found myself having to almost start over again. So I could have saved a lot of time and effort if I'd have done that from the beginning. Yeah.
Definitely. Very wise advice. Thank you for sharing that. Just off topic now, I noticed that the blouse or the dress that you have on has got butterflies on it, and that the name of your website is called Chrysalis Astrology as well. Is there a connection?
Well, I did wear this today because I thought this will bring me luck, because it's the same symbol as my business, and I've recently got this necklace which is also a purple butterfly, which is the symbol for my business. I chose chrysalis astrology because I really believe that astrology can help you transform as a person, and there's no better symbol for transformation, I think, than the butterfly.
Yes.
So I called it chrysalis with a K purely because my name starts with a K, so I thought I'd change it a bit instead of the CH. But yeah, definitely the butterfly is that symbol of transformation, and just through teaching people and speaking with people, I have seen so many people just go, oh, I never realised that about myself, or oh wow, I am like that, or it's okay to be like that because that's the way I'm supposed to be, you know.
Yes.
So people really do learn to accept themselves that way.
Yeah, and live authentically, sort of like get in touch with the core self.
Yeah.
You know, that's so important. Absolutely. How do you promote and market your services? You mentioned that you worked in a spiritual retreat. Do you still do that, or are you only online?
No, I still have a lot of like business cards and brochures and things around local spiritual shops and spiritual centres in my own area. But the bulk of my promotion now is through Facebook and Twitter, because I've found that, you know, social media marketing is just so important because, you know, there's a limited amount of people, I guess, within a certain local area. But when you go online and start promoting online, you know, I've got people now following me from New Zealand and America as well as Australia, and, you know, you just think, wow, like the whole world's your oyster if you are.
It opens up your business internationally, definitely.
It does. And that's exciting. And I've met so many great people, you know, that I would never have been able to meet otherwise. So it's great, yeah.
That's super, absolutely. What advice would you give anyone starting out in business?
I think just to really, you know, make sure that whatever you're doing, you're passionate about, and then plan it out. Don't just dive in without having given it some really good thought first. And, you know, if you can't afford to leave your current job and dive straight in, then, you know, you need to find ways to be able to give yourself a certain amount of time to focus on your business as well as bring in some money. And then once you're confident and things start working, then you can make that transition.
So planning and balance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very important. Thank you. Well, that's fantastic advice, and I'm sure, you know, that anybody watching this will realise as well that when you go into business, the best thing to do is to be able to plan it out. And as we've heard in previous interviews, you know, to have a 6-month plan, a 12-month plan, and a long-term plan as well, and then to prioritise, take action to make that work, and to have the balance, which we as mums often forget to do.
Absolutely.
Now, if there's one resource that you have to have in your business and that you use daily, what is that resource?
That resource would have to be my astrology program on my computer, because to do charts of people by hand takes a very, very long time. But with the advent of modern technology, it's wonderful that you can, with a click of a button, have someone's birth chart in front of you within, you know, a matter of seconds, and makes it a lot quicker, so that then you can actually start looking at that person and who they are and give them some feedback. Yeah.
Fabulous. All right. Now, if anybody watching this wanted to get hold of you or utilise your services in any way, where would they find you? Could you share your Facebook page, your website as well for us?
So my website is www.chrysalisastrology.com, and then my Facebook page is, again, Chrysalis Astrology. I do Twitter. Twitter is chrysalis, spelled the same way again, Krysalis, Astro, Astro.
Fabulous. That's super. Now, in closing, is there anything that you would like to add or just share with the viewers that can help them to take action in their business today and to grow their business a lot quicker? Anything else that you'd like to share?
I just think if anyone's watching this and they're still humming and hawing about whether or not to take the plunge, I would say definitely go for it. Be, you know, cautiously confident and optimistic, but, you know, if you're thinking about it, really get a plan down and start really focusing on it, because the sooner you start doing this, you know, the sooner you can be in business for yourself and starting to live the life that you really want.
Isn't that true? So just start. Plan it and start. How many times have we heard of people who years have gone by and they're still in the same position and they look back and they wish they'd taken that step but haven't? So really good advice. Thank you so much, Kim, for being on the show today. Thank you for sharing your wonderful insights with us as well. Anybody watching this, if you want to get hold of Kim, she has given her website in this as well. We'll flick it up on the screen for you a little later. So please feel free to contact Kim. And Kim, thank you once again for sharing those insights with us.